The alert came from a system, not a person. In the middle of a normal data sweep, going through infrared, radio, and general noise, a smart system noticed something. It wasn't a big flash or anything. It was quiet. A steady orbit around a planet far, far away, K2-18b to be exact. That planet's usually written off. Star charts show nothing special, no air, no movement, no magnetic field. Cold and dead. But this thing was moving around it. Not like trash. It was orbiting on purpose. The system was super sure, like 98%. Not a mistake. This object wasn't space junk. It was built. When the data got to people, they didn't believe it at first. But the signal held after a few checks. The orbit was too spot on. The heat was too regular. The signal was too clean. It might not be a message or even a transmission. But it could be something lasting. A mark. Maybe the first we've ever seen. So, the system flagged this thing orbiting K2-18b, a planet we thought was totally dead. This thing was stable, stuck around, and unlike anything we'd seen. The planet's cold. No air, moving ground, or magnetic field. You get the idea. The system's rating was really high, so the engineers took seriously. The sky watchers checked everything twice. They did all sorts of checks, but the thing was still there. One of them said it felt like it was watching us. The data went to different places to be checked. It blew up fast. Began as a quiet thing and became a big project with all sorts of people. The object wasn't part of a ring, a moon, or an asteroid thing. It moved too smooth. It stayed on track. It was just there. This is big, so it makes you consider what a dead planet even is. And what it means when something built orbits one. Dead planets lack heat, air, and water. Nothing happens on these planets. The inside doesn't move. The surface is frozen. There's no protection from space stuff. K2-18b looked like that. No volcanoes, shiny spots, or anything. No heat. Scientists just thought it was a boring rock. One scan and done, someone joked. Even checking old data, there was nothing worth looking at. Total quiet. That quiet is why this find feels so strange. We think dead planets stay dead. But this thing orbiting it flipped expectations. We think of planets as alive or dead, but this proved that dead worlds can still be special. If not for life, then as something else. A base? A mark? If the planet was dead, the puzzle wasn't on the surface. It was in orbit. Which brings us to the main object. It doesn't look natural. The orbit is round. That kind of station keeping doesn't happen with trash. It meant. It's about 10 kilometers wide. Big enough not to be a fluke, but small enough to be missed. The light signature is weird. Made of complex stuff you don't find in nature. It bounces back heat in ways that suggest it was built. It also sends out faint but steady heat pulses, which could be waste. The system saw station keeping moves. So, it's using energy of some kind to hold in place. An expert put it like this: it's too planned out to ignore, too on purpose to write off. And it's the single thing moving around a world we thought wasn't important. But now it's super important. This find wasn't by chance. It happened because a system had crazy processing power. Unlike old computers, this machine used quantum bits to check tons of data. It wasn't just copying known things. It was set up to find what was off. And it did. Something stood out. A repeating pulse, smooth motion, a shape that stayed. People might have missed it. The system didn't. It ruled out all the natural stuff. What was left was something round, on track, and built. I gave it a name and a 98% level. One of the system people said it didn't answer the mystery. It pointed us where to look. Without that, this object would have been nothing. Now it's everything. This changes sky watching. One big question came up. Could the object be ours? Some wondered if it was lost stuff. Space is big. K2-18b is super far. We've never built something that could get there. People can go through every sky list. Nothing fits and no one reported anything that big missing. Experts comb through every launch piece, but that requires too much to hide. Even the craziest ideas fall apart with details. So, what's left? It isn't ours. It never was. It's not lost. It's something people haven't seen before. Of course, space has faked us out before. In 2015, it dimmed in a strange way that many wondered about aliens building superstructure. People thought, but it was dust. Then there was something that moved strangely through our system. Experts figured it had to be a comet. And then there were radio waves. First, they seemed like talk, not random, but now the thoughts say it was lightning. The same to the wow signal. Those times show surprise, thoughts then that have something simple like dirt or noise and they do not repeat. It is a trick that some make to gain momentum or something. So, will K2-18b be like that? Or is this new? Thoughts are buzzing. Maybe it's a natural rock thing with shiny metal. Others think it's a tool that used to work long ago or a piece from a broken energy set. Still others wonder if the planet was a failed project gone wrong. Then there are wild ideas, for example portals. Nothing is wrong with those ideas. This sky has lots of stuff in it. One expert says everything is real until it isn't. Between being wrong and being right is not much space. The data was sent to different places to be sure and the situation got serious. It became a full look involving many people. The object wasn't like any ring, satellite, or asteroid. It moved too well, staying in a perfect circle. To see how big this is, what makes a planet dead? What does it mean if something artificial orbits one? In space terms, a dead planet has no heat, air, or water. The inside doesn't churn and the ground is still. There's no shield from space radiation. Usually, these worlds don't have anything left. Records for K2-18b showed no volcanoes, shiny surfaces, or oceans. It was just a cold rock. One scientist joked that its only purpose was that of a control group / it seemed like a place to scan once and never think about again. Even after looking through the JWST info, there was nothing special. No past flares or weird signals, just quiet. That stillness is also what made the discovery so odd. We think dead planets should stay dead. This thing orbiting it quietly changed things. It messed with what we thought. Planets are alive or dead, good to live on or not. But this showed that dead worlds can still matter, not for life, but for something else, like a base. If the planet's dead, the object itself is the question. It's not like anything natural, orbiting in sync with K2-18b spin. That needs purpose. The thing is about 10 kilometers across, meaning it can be easy to miss. The materials seem odd as well, that suggest design shapes. The object sends out regular pulses. It might be waste or power cycles. It also uses to stay in place. It needs power to do that, and it's not just tumbling around. As one expert said, it's too structured to ignore, too deliberate to dismiss. K2-18b out of nowhere matters more than we thought. It happened thanks to the power of a quantum AI. This system used quantum bits to check data from JWST and other spots. It looked for what was off and something was there, repeated and steady motion. People might not have seen it, but the AI did. It ruled out all natural causes. What was left was something circular and engineered. It called it an artifact with high probability, a term that had been in the program but never used on anything real. One developer said the AI just showed them where to look. Without it, the object would have been another error. Now, it's everything. Quantum AI the way we do astronomy, but one question came up. Could this be human? Maybe it was lost tech from the past. K2-18b is kind of far. Not even theoretical ones. Experts looked through every launch and satellite record, and found nothing. Satellites are tracked or out in the solar system. Even crazy secret ideas don't hold up. One aerospace expert said if physics were broken, we'd know. So, it has to be ours. It never was. One expert said it's not local, lost and new. We've been teased before, like with Tabby's star dimming oddly. People thought of alien structures, but it was likely dust clouds. Then there was Oumuamua, which accelerated strangely. Some thought it was alien, but it was thought to be natural. Fast radio bursts also seemed like signals, but they're from magnetars. And we will always remember the wow. From 1977 from an alien radio signals. These show pattern and questions. Will K2-18b be the same? Some think it's an odd mineral thing, like a metal asteroid with a shiny shell. Others think it's a probe that fell in around a dead planet for so long. Another guess is that it's remains of a Dyson, the harvesting network. Others wonder if K2-18b was going to be transformed and the structure is part of that, now its failed attempt with only one part. Some other guesses is wormholes and dark matters and deep/fringe ideas.